Well, hello guys, and welcome back to another Star vs. the Forces of Evil review. In this episode, we're taking a look at Season 1, Episode 15 and 16, Blood Moon Ball, and other episode. We'll get to it. But let's just focus on Blood Moon Ball right now because it's a great episode. I remember this episode being good, even if I do, in hindsight, have my problems with it. But rewatching it again, I forgot how good it really was. There are so many elements of this episode that just work on so many different levels. I highly recommend it. I think this is a great episode. And it really surprised me going back. Like, it's so much better than I remember it. But let's get into it. It starts off with a carriage with a flaming horse showing up. And someone walks out of it and he walks through the school. And it's a demon guy who, I think it was maybe like the second or third episode. We haven't seen him in a long time. But we do eventually get his name again. It's Tom. Tom is Star's demon ex-boyfriend. And he's come to ask her to the Blood Moon Ball. And she says no, pushes him away. And right off the bat, we get some good jokes. This episode is hilarious. There are tons of great jokes throughout it. I don't want to give all of them away, obviously, but a good one right here is she says, "Take your flaming dead horse and leave." And the horse is like, "I'm dead?" That's great. That's great. And there's tons of great jokes like that throughout the episode. And Tom wants to take Star to the right, but she won't go. And Tom then tries to convince her that he's changed, that he's working on his anger issues. Tom is complicated because, at least right now, this is our first real interaction with him. And they are kind of hinting at that Star and Tom were in an abusive relationship. To what level that abusive relationship went, they never really explain. It seems to... because Tom has anger issues, and he is trying to work on it. And it's kind of weird whether or not he actually is. Like, later on, they'll define it better. But for the moment, it's kind of up in the air. It's very gray onto whether or not Tom is actually working on his anger issues. He claims he is, but at the same time, he uses the standard abuser line of, "I've changed," right? "I want you back. I'm a changed man." So that just makes Tom more complicated. It makes him more gray. Because is he an abuser? Probably, but who really knows, right? We get a they hint at a lot of things, but we never get any they never actually dive too deep into it. It's all surface level, but that makes it more interesting. Marco comes in and tries to stop him because, you know, he looks like a demon, but Star's like, "No, this is evil ex-demon boyfriend Tom." And instead of blowing up on Marco, he calms down and he doesn't go all psycho. He has a support system in place. He's trying not to freak out. Again, they are showing that he is trying to change, whether or not that's for completely selfish reasons. I mean, you can make an argument that all acts are selfish, but story for another day. But Star eventually decides that, you know, maybe she will go to the ball. Just because why not? If he's making efforts to change, she might as well support him. Or something like that. And we see her she gets ready for the ball. I've pointed this out before, but I love how they do outfits with Star, and I love her Blood Moon Ball outfit. I think it's great. Star doesn't even really have that great of a character design. She's a blonde, prettiest princess. But yet, I love what they're willing to do with her character design. I love how they're doing all the different outfits. Yeah, call me a sucker, but I think it all works. We see Marco wants to go with Star, but Star's like, "No, I'm going to do this on my own. You just stay here," right? She can handle it if anything goes south. And we see down in hell, Tom's arranging the Blood Moon Ball, and one of these two people says it's like a greeting card holiday party, which is super accurate. It really does remind me of like a homecoming dance. It's super awkward. I completely get that. And just to push that, Star and Tom's first interaction in hell, is basically giving her, he says it's a hair dealie, But it reminds me of like a corsage or the other one. I don't remember which one gives to which. I've been out of high school for years now. But but she doesn't want the spider. And yeah, I get it. It already shows that everything's off to a rocky start. We cut back to Marco to see him just kind of sitting in Star's room, eating chips, being a sad sack, sucking on his pity dick, you know, how Marco does it. But he keeps hearing a voice call to him that eventually pushes him towards the bell. Okay, interesting. They definitely are setting up something. We see down in hell, we see that how just Tom has completely ruined this dance by turning it into a homecoming dance. This demon guy is really funny. Again, I'm not going to give away any of his jokes, but I think he's funny. And then we find out the whole reason why Tom did this is because on the Blood Moon Ball, when two people dance under the Blood Moon, they are eternally soul-bound for infinity, right? Tom's trying to change, but at the same time, the whole reason he's trying to do this dance is to get him and Star soul bonded forever. So again, that adds another layer onto Tom, makes him more interesting. Is he doing this for completely selfish reasons? And then we see Marco shows up at the dance as well. He's wearing a mask. I also like Marco's outfit. It also works. And then he goes and finds Star, and the second they touch, the blood moon shines on them and they get their dance. That, you know, I haven't really commented I've commented on the animation and the fight scenes before and how good they look. This little dance scene right here is great at showing the fluidity of the animation. It's so flexible and it's all in these like little spurts. It overall just works really well. I've never pointed that out before. But the big thing about the Blood Moon dance is that it symbolizes Marco and Star being together forever. It shows that they are going to fall in love. And at the time, I didn't really think about it that much. I didn't really care either way. In hindsight, and this is something that comes along in season 2, I'll even admit it may be season 3. For me personally, everyone has their own opinion. But I think this was kind of a mistake. Saying that because of this dance, and even hinting that there are forces pushing Marco to do this, that they are now bound together forever, I don't really like that. I'd much rather have their relationship grow organically, not be some sort of predestined prophecy thing, or it just not happen at all. That's what I've been leaning towards for the past year or so, that I don't think Star and Marco should have a relationship. I mean, Marco's in love with Jackie? I think one of them. And Star has a crush on Oscar, right? There are already people they have set them up with, and I think that just makes for more interesting characters. Again, at the time I didn't really care, but I think it'd be more interesting. And again, they'll address this and dwell on this later. But yeah, if I had a problem with the episode, it's that. It's that they're forcing them together. This is clearly like getting the train started. This isn't getting the train started, obviously, but this is the infinite flame, right? That will power the train forever. Because whenever I say that I don't want Star and Marco together, people always point me to this moment. This is the one that always forces them together. And it's one of like only two moments like this, but they always force them together. Of course, there is one other thing that this episode shares with the other time they do this. And there may be other times I'm forgetting, but we'll get to that. But so they have the dance. Star finds out that it is Marco under the mask. And then Tom interrupts the dance, gets pissed. He is so mad at Marco. And then Star just freezes him. Yeah, over and done. And they head back up to Earth. Yeah, it's that simple. And you know what? I'll buy it. Because when they get back on Earth, Star's mad, but she's not mad at Tom. She's mad at Marco. And that's what saves the episode. For everything I hate about the shipping and all this shit that I will complain about, this little moment at the end saves all of that. And again, it shares it in common with another episode in season 3 that I'm not going to name, but you know what? If you've seen the show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because Star's mad at Marco for interfering. She says she doesn't need a hero. If she's going to deal with a demon, she can do it herself. And I totally buy that, right? And on one hand, I feel like it's a little unnecessary because they've already established Star up to this point as, right, she's not the damsel in distress, and this episode is just kind of reconfirming that, which is kind of unnecessary, but I'm not going to complain too much. I did, however, snicker when she says, I'm 14. She basically says, I'm 14, I'm an adult. You're still a child. You're still a child. Oh my god, I've become the parents in Disney movies. But no, other than that, this is a great moment of them just talking and Marco admitting that, yeah, no, he was wrong. It's a great human moment. And then after that, we just get the episode just ends with a little bit of them just talking, joking around. They do that thing where, like, that twins do, where they talk at once. I mean, twins in fiction. I don't think I've ever seen twins do that in real life. Not that I really know any identical twins now that I think about it. But, right, they do that. And this is what the ending here is great because it's a testament to how good the show's writing is. Whenever people think of good writing, the first thing that usually comes to their mind is like a great speech or whatever. Overrated. Good writing is just two characters talking, or even a group, and they're just being human. I always praise like party scenes, because if you can just put all the characters we love in a party scene and the scene work without anything happening, it's a testament to how good the writing is. And this shows it right here. This is great writing because they interact and they're just friends and they're people and it's real people just talking to each other. That's what I love about it. That's what makes this ending so great. And the entire episode overall is just amazing. It does all of this. It has all these issues. It doesn't fully admit that one is right or wrong. It's willing to explore the gray areas. It's just a great episode. I love it so much, and I loved it so much more than I remembered it. It was just so much better. It was so well done. Even with the shipping that's put right, the infinite flame, I don't mind because the moments that come after it are so strong, and they make so much sense, and they fit the character so well. The other episode is Fortune Cookie. So, it starts off with a battle, right? Ludo's getting his ass kicked like always. What else do you expect? He goes back to his base and he's like, you guys suck. We need somebody to wrangle you in. We need a new hire. So he looks to hire somebody new, and all of the new hires suck until Toffee comes in, and Toffee basically hires himself. Now, there's a trend that it's probably, I know it's existed before, and it definitely will continue to exist, but it's been big in the 2010s of taking a show with like a goofy villain like Ludo, and then replacing them or usurping them with a more serious one, like Toffee. Other examples would be Adventure Time. Adventure Time is, the reason I say this is the 2010s, is because Adventure Time is one of the first ones I can think of with Ice King and the Lich. OKKO does it with Boxmore and what is his name? Mysterious Stranger, Foxtrot, Professor Venomous. Wander Over Yonder did it with characters. I've never seen Wander Over Yonder. There's tons of other shows that have done it. Those are just some of the ones I'm thinking of. And yeah, Toffee is this show's that. He's coming in, and he's a more serious villain attempting to usurp Ludo's throne, basically. And at the moment, yeah, no, he does a good job at it. Because he's trying to, right, he looks at all of Ludo's monsters, and yeah, no, Ludo's monsters kind of suck. Buff Frog comes in and tells him what Star's doing. And Buff Frog is the sets apart from all of the other monsters because he's the only one with like a brain cell. He's smarter than Ludo, let's be real here. And he's like, I don't know if we can trust Toffee. But Buff Frog reports that Star has been doing the fortune cookie stuff, which I have been trying to avoid. This episode, the Toffee stuff is good. It's interesting. It's setting up a big villain for the rest of the season and the greater beyond. The Star stuff is insufferable. It is some of the worst. And what makes it so horrible is the stuff I've complained about before. Fish out of water. I've said in the first episode that Star does have fish out of water moments. I thought the first episode did it fine. There were other episodes of which they're slipping from my mind, but there were episodes that did fish out of water. Most of them were pretty bad, but none of them were egregious or anything. This episode, however, is egregious when it comes to fish out of water. Whenever someone complains about fish out of water, this is exactly what I think of. This is horrible fish out of water. An episode like this is the reason I hate fish out of water. Because Star, right, they go get Chinese food, Star gets a fortune cookie, she thinks it can tell the future. So now she gets a bunch of other fortune cookies and is following their whim to a T because they can predict the future. This is a storyline we've seen 100 times before. And it is insufferable. But the villain gets the plan to switch out the fortune cookies. Because she's a slave to the fortune cookies, she'll do whatever they say. So if the fortune cookie tells her not to fight, she won't fight. So Marco gets his ass kicked, while she just hugs the monsters. And eventually one of the monsters reveals what's really going on. That the fortune cookie was planted, and then she's able to defeat the monsters. And all's well that ends well. They get one final cookie that says there's going to be a great evil. And then we cut back to Toffee and he's like, yeah, Toffee's our great evil. He's our villain to supplant Ludo. And the episode, the Toffee Ludo stuff is good, right? It's fine. It's introducing us to Toffee, which is going to be an important player. The Star stuff I hate so much. It's the reason I don't like this episode. Fish out of water works on very few occasions, but this is not one of them. This is, and it's not the worst example. There are probably worse ones, but when it comes to this show, this is pretty. This is what they were skimming a line, usually ending up on the bad side, but this is just them fully submerging in the shit of fish out of water. I hate it. But hey, at least Blood Moon Ball was pretty good. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time, peace.